Hey folks, Twisted Christian here. Today I want to talk about the coming regulations, and I want to use South Korea as the framework for what I'm getting ready to share with you. But before I get into that, folks, I have to tell you guys that I'm not a financial advisor. I am just bringing and sharing information and giving you my thoughts and my opinions. And if you guys like these videos that I make, the support links are down below in the description or in the About section on YouTube. All right, folks, so back in April, the end of April, I shared a video dealing with crypto crashes and crypto exchanges shutting down. And one of the countries that I was using as an example for regulations was South Korea. And at one time, South Korea had over 60 exchanges that were operating. And I believe at one point in time, I believe the date was in September, where the regulations were going to start taking effect. And I did the one video here, crypto reset is coming, 70% of South Korea exchanges are down, right? So out of the 60 exchanges, over 70% were down. There were a lot of people who could not log in to their platform. There was a lot of people who could log in, but they couldn't sell. And then also there were exchanges that just completely disappeared, right? You type in the website and it's just gone, right? A lot of people lost a lot of money, and there was a lot of panic during that time period in South Korea, right? And a lot of the exchanges complained that they didn't have enough time to comply. Now we have another set of regulations that are coming to South Korea. Out of those 60 exchanges right now, according to this article, South Korea now has 24 licensed crypto exchanges, but most are stuck in crypto-to-crypto purgatory, right? So they lost a lot of exchanges in South Korea, right? And it looks like, according to this article, they might even lose some more, which is absolutely insane. So when we look at the number of exchanges that are out there in the world, according to CoinMarketCap, I'm sure there's more than this here. If South Korea had at least 60 just by themselves, right? And I imagine that most of the cryptocurrency exchanges, at least half, when regulations come out here in the United States, I believe a lot of crypto exchanges all around the world are going to end up going down. But we need to be prepared for that, right? And I don't know if this is going to come around a time where it's crypto winter. You know, is Bitcoin going to be over 100,000 when regulations come out, on top of all the manipulation that is going on? And I believe that China will probably figure out that regulations are coming and they don't want to be exposed with what they're doing, and the whales too as well. Right? So I really feel bad for a lot of those people over there, but that's something that we are going to try to avoid here. Now, I believe that all the exchanges that I'm on and that I have talked to you guys about are going to be just fine during crypto regulation, except for there might be a few like Binance that will not make it, right? We know in the long term that they are not going to make it because they're behind a lot of the manipulation. All right, so this article right here, I think is going to be very important, because I think that we are going to be heading in that same direction as far as United States regulations. I don't think the ending of the XRP lawsuit going to bring about all the regulations that are needed, but it's going to be the start in the beginning. Korean crypto exchange Coin1 will no longer allow withdrawals to unverified external wallets. That means Coin1 users won't be able to withdraw their funds to wallets that have no KYC, such as MetaMask and Ledger. So if you know what KYC is, then you know what I'm talking about, but KYC is called Know Your Customer, right? That means that when you sign up with an exchange, they ask you to upload your ID, put in your address and your social security number, or whichever country you're in, what type of number that you have to put in that identifies who you are, right? So if there is anybody in South Korea that is manipulating the markets in any way, shape, or form, or using cryptocurrency to do bad things, money laundering, and everything else, they're going to sell off. I believe a lot of those people that were in South Korea probably did do some selling off, and so they didn't have to be found out, so to speak, by the government or whatever the case. I'm going to say this because I do believe that when something similar to this comes out in the United States, you're actually going to see Congress probably start to debate it, start to put it on the floor. And once they do that, I can imagine the cryptocurrency industry is going to start to go down, right? They're still going to be trying to push it as much as they can all the way to the end, because guess what? The 1% and the politicians and all those who are manipulating the cryptocurrency markets, they're going to try to put themselves in a position to get out of the cryptocurrency industry, right? So that's why I think we have these pricing points, folks. Like when we hear about Doge at 90 cents and then crypto winter sometime after that, XRP, and then Bitcoin falling down to zero after it hits 111,000, prophetically speaking. Because a lot of these, whether whoever owns these wallets are tied to particular governments, or it's actually the governments running these, whether it's whales that don't want to be found out, we wouldn't know, but the governments would know, if you know what I mean, especially here in the United States. So these whales that, whether they live here or not, eventually the government's going to know who those wallets belong to, right? And if those wallets were used for manipulation, they're going to be found out. So they will probably sell off and shut down their wallet as fast as they can. And actually that means that if any South Korean that is on a foreign exchange is going to have to report. So you guys understand what I'm saying? One of the things that even if an exchange, and I suspect because a lot of the exchanges are probably barely surviving in South Korea just because of regulations, I suspect that there's going to be a lot of these major exchanges will not make it through crypto winter, not because of regulations, but because of the cryptocurrency prices are going to be so low during that time period, they're not going to be able to operate. And also another thing is too, there's over 16,520 cryptocurrencies, right? And there's new ones coming out every day. You can just make up something and put it out there and people are investing in it. So cryptocurrency is actually almost turning into a circus, if you understand what I mean. So just like the exchanges, I expect more than half to go down, and then maybe out of those other half, some of them won't survive. Now, when it comes to the cryptocurrencies themselves, of course, the big ones, most of them are going to survive. We know Bitcoin eventually will pop back up over 100,000, and we saw the long term, prophetically speaking, of over 500,000 down the road in the future, right? And we have other pricing points for other cryptos that are going to be doing very well, such as Dogecoin. In the year 2022, it's going to hit 1,000. XRP is going to hit 1,000. Right? So a lot of people are going to be, when they realize that a lot of the cryptocurrencies that they have may not make it through regulations, a lot of these coins are not going to be regulation ready, right? So if you're invested in certain coins, we got to make sure that every coin is that you are invested in is going to make it through regulations. And there's a lot of coins out there. You guys are, some of you guys are invested in maybe 50 or 60 different coins. I don't know if all these Dogecoin spinoffs are going to make it. We talk about Shiba Inu, right? And the owner or the creator of Shiba Inu is unknown. Same with Bitcoin. Guess what? If these regulations pass, right, whoever owns those Bitcoin wallets, right, they're going to have to reveal themselves, not to us, but to the government. So if any of these Satoshi wallets that have Bitcoin in it and they send money to Coinbase, right, they're going to have to be verified, because I believe that's part of the regulation. So they're going to try to get out of all of their positions and all of their holdings. But you know what? We're going to be able to get out of ours first, right? We look at Shiba Inu and the person who created Shiba Inu. Nobody knows who that person is, right? What do you think regulations is going to do? It's going to reveal whoever the owner of Shiba Inu is. Maybe not to us, but to the government. So I believe that, I think we're going to find out who really created Bitcoin, and I think we are going to find out who created Shiba Inu. We've heard the prophecies about Binance not making it, and there's going to be flash crashes on there and stuff. And I told you guys, if you guys use Binance, make sure that you're experienced, because there is going to be flash crashes on there and you will be able to take advantage of it, but you're going to need to get out of it eventually and transfer those funds before these regulations and crypto winter and all this stuff take place. And so what's going to happen when we hear the prophecy from Prophet Robin, about Binance actually being frozen and then shutting down? Hopefully before crypto winter, you guys will be transferring a lot of that money to your bank account anyway. During this time period, we're going to have to work quick, because you have to remember that different exchanges have different policies on transferring money out, right? Like, you can only transfer out so much money or so much crypto out on a daily basis. That's kind of the reason why I'm kind of spread out with some of my Shiba Inu and some of my other investments, so that I can transfer things around. If I have everything on one exchange, right, I'm going to be sitting there for weeks trying to cash out, and I don't want to be in that position. So I don't want you guys to worry, especially about some of the prophetic coins, like we've talked about KuCoin and the whole thing with Bitcoin and buy limit orders, and they are working with regulators, and in some places in the United States, people have told me that they've been able to actually set up KYC. In some places you can't. You can still transfer in funds, transfer out funds, you can buy and sell and everything else. But just to kind of give you an idea, right? Like this article here, these 5 U.S. states are the best for crypto investors. So if you live in these states, California, Wyoming, Florida, Texas, and Colorado, right? They all want to all attract people that are wealthy, that have made wealth from cryptocurrency to their states. And then you have which U.S. states are the worst for crypto investors. New York, we already knew New York. That was the big one. Hawaii, Vermont, Alaska, and West Virginia. And that's why some people, when they sign up, depending on your state, right, and maybe even some cities have regulations. That's why some people in the United States can sign up for KYC and some can't. So regulations is kind of weird until we get a framework with that. It's going to be a lot of if in the air, but I'm not worried about KuCoin, because it's one of the prophetic platforms, because not only we talk about Bitcoin, but it also, KuCoin has ETN, Electronium, right? So if you guys are interested in it, because many of you are going to ask, the links are all down below in the description. So folks, this is very interesting that this is going to be happening and taking place. We just have to wait. We have to watch. We're going to be waiting for Congress to start working on some things dealing with crypto regulations. I think they are ready already. They're just putting themselves in a position to where they're not going to be affected. And so are we. That's why we have the prophetic pricing points, folks, because we don't want to be caught up in all this stuff. We don't want to be caught up with any crypto exchange that you might be signed up with that might not be compliant, right? And I believe that most of the platforms I've ever discussed on here I believe most of those are going to make it through regulations. Of course, dealing with the prophetic with Coinbase, just make sure you're praying, and that you also have and this with any crypto exchange, that you're using all your security features that you can use. So, and that goes for any platform, folks, because I see you can go back and you can just look on various platforms. Even the best ones, they still get hacked. But it's not necessarily because they have a group of hackers going after it. It's because of people individual. They don't have their security set up, or they are going to websites that they are not supposed to be going to, and they are downloading things to their computer. Anyways, folks, that is all I have for today. We're just going to keep watch and wait, and we'll see what happens with the crypto regulations and see where it fits in our timeline, right? And I believe honestly, folks, that if we had these kind of regulations here in the United States coming, I think they would already, a lot of these whales and some of these governments that are manipulating the markets, I believe that they would already be selling off to the point to where it's going to drive the price, the Bitcoin to zero, and all these other cryptocurrencies down. That's why I say have opportunity. If you're not working with very much money right now, and during this time period, I say that's one reason why you just keep saving, right? You try to find as much money as you can. You go through and do the unclaimed funds with your state treasury to see if you can find anything. Then we have taxes coming. Make sure you file those right away so you get the money right away as fast as possible. Our government is delaying all those different things. So anything that has to do with filing paperwork or, searching for lost money and getting the paperwork to get all that completed, make sure you're doing that now. and so that money will come in and be available for you to actually start buying. So tell me, folks, what you guys think. Leave a comment down below in the description, and don't forget to give a like and a share to this, folks, because I think it's very important. Anyways, I thank you guys for listening. God bless. TC out.